Hi, I'm Derek.
Hi, I'm Jay.
We play in Defeater, and you're watching Seen But Not Heard,
the podcast.
Hey there, welcome to another Seen But Not Heard podcast. My name is Phil. We are here at a DIY venue in Chicago called Treasure Town, and joining me on the podcast today, we have Derek and Jay of Defeater. How you guys doing?
Good, how you doing?
Good. I'm also doing good.
Good. That's good to hear. You guys just wrapped up your tour with Touche Amore. How was that?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Love those dudes.
It's awesome. It's just a kind of a idiot-proof package. Like, obviously it's going to happen one day, and it finally happened, and it ruled. Every night ruled. Those dudes ruled. There was nothing about it that was not rulesy.
Yeah. Good. Awesome.
It's not a word.
It's good to hear. Now, you guys, you're from the Boston area. It's my opinion, at least, that Boston's probably one of the most underrated hardcore scenes around. I mean, when you think of that,
I wouldn't say that.
You don't think so?
No, I
mean, when I think of hardcore, at least
too much talk.
You think so?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, you guys
There's
have
a lot of bands from there.
That's the thing. But not only that, you've got such great labels. You've got Top Shelf and Death Wish and Bridge 9, obviously.
Yeah.
So what makes you think that it's overrated, or maybe is it
Not overrated.
Is it fairly rated?
It's fairly rated. I mean, there's so many bands that we've had the very fortune of like growing up seeing, and I don't know, just a lot of great labels that put out great music. Like you mentioned, 3 of them, yeah, there's a ton of fucking music that comes out of Boston where it's like we almost get spoiled with how much good music is coming out of there and has come out of there, like late 90s, early 2000s with Suicide File, Hope Con, American Nightmare, like Reach the Sky, Slapshot, like Converge way back. Like those are some of my favorite shows ever. Right Brigade. I mean, it's fucking spoiled.
How did you first of all kind of get into that type of music, and then once you started making that style of music, what was it like? What was the support like? What was it just like being in that area, being in that scene?
I mean, I think we both got into it the same way. Both, you know, you're 13, 14, 15, like still kind of maybe listening to what your parents listen to, and then, you know, someone that you maybe like look up to in high school or like you skate with, or you know, writes a zine that they gave you, you know, turns you on to a couple bands, and then you just go from there, and, you know, you're buying compilations and, you know, labels like Epitaph and Fat that were just shitting out comps every other month, and they're only like $5, like 94, 95, you just ate that up. Like you get $5 for mowing your, you know, neighbor's lawn or something, you just go out and buy a new comp, or like save your money and like, oh, I really like that fucking Rancid record, like I'm gonna go and get that, and then like, you know, you see their thank list in their records, and you're like, oh, I wonder who fucking Circle Jerks are, something like that, and then you're like, oh wait, they're just like where it started. This is fucking rad. And like, I don't know, when it's like 94 and there's no fucking internet, and you know you're 14, it's like the coolest fucking thing to like find these bands, and like either people like that you look up to are telling you about them, or you're finding out about it on your own. It's like fucking raddest feeling in the world.
Does that pretty much stack up with your experience too, Jay?
Yeah, totally, man. Skateboarding and just meeting kids at the park, and they're playing like Dinosaur Jr., Fugazi, Minor Threat, like all that stuff, and it was perfect. I was young and fucking full of spit and vinegar and like skating every day, and it was like the perfect soundtrack to my life. And after like I got into it more, like I figured out a lot of the messages, and here I am.
Now you guys obviously seem like the type of people who are really passionate about finding kind of community in music, and you guys, I guess could say, made waves a few years ago when you came out with this thing called The Wave with La Dispute and Touche Amore and
Mike
pianos.
To blame for that.
So
in a good way.
I'm good buddies with Jordan from back in high school, and he came on our podcast, the first podcast that he did, and explained that this whole thing was just basically just a practical joke. It doesn't really mean anything. It's not like a gang or anything.
It was like an inside joke that went way too far. Yeah, I know. Those 5 bands in a fucking gang would be the skinniest, most unintimidating gang in the world.
Yeah.
So how is Mike involved with it then? Like, how did you blame him for it?
Well, he just got Woodruff over there just trying to take center stage. He's not in the interviews, so he's upset.
It might get noisy here. We'll just speak loud.
Mikey was just like joking around, saying like he had the perfect name for like our group of friends who we always play together, always tour together, like that we all just over the last like 3-4 years that we've been a band have had the very like amazing fortune of meeting and playing with all the time. And so we just made up the name, and then all of a sudden there were 5 bands in it, and all of a sudden it was getting featured in magazines, and we were just like, this is a fucking joke, like a bad inside joke. And it got taken way too seriously, and like seeing write-ups in magazines, it's just like, oh, the fucking wave, this new wave of music. It's like
a genre. What is this?
Yeah, it's like we're not doing anything fucking new. Like we're still pulling from the same influences that all these other bands are doing, and I mean, it's just we got lucky. I guess maybe it helped us in a way, or maybe it hindered us. Who knows? I mean, it comes off as really pretentious, which, I mean, sucks at times. But I mean, it's just we didn't intend it to be like some fucking elitist club.
Yeah. Now, Mike's kind of an interesting story. I mean, he was basically doing double duty in Make, Do, and Mend in your band, and then he's kind of like officially now a full-time member of Defeater.
Well,
what's going on?
Has been.
Okay.
He's in the first touring that we did as Defeater. Our very first tour. Like Mikey's been our bass player from day one. We had a few people like play our first few shows, but it was because Mikey was still in Hawaii. And then the second he moved back to the States, or not the States, but to the first 48, he picked his bass right back up and was road dogging it with us. And then we were going slow. We just put out Travels, and we didn't think that we were going to be any sort of band that we are now. We thought it was just going to be one record and tour on it, do our thing for a while. And so Mikey just wanted to be on the road all the time. So we had met the Make Do kids, and they were moving up to Boston, and he was like, fuck it, I'll play bass in that band too.
Yeah.
And it was always like this mutual respect and understanding between the two bands that we both get Mike whenever he wants to tour with whomever. And like he's such a positive kid, and like such a good person to have on hand when you are on tour, that nobody wanted to like give him up entirely. So like we both just let him do whatever the hell he wanted.
Yeah. Now, you guys, tell me a little bit about what those guys and those other bands mean to you, because, I mean, you talk so freely about how, when you first met up with them, you just kind of clicked. You guys aren't just, like, the same level. What do those people mean to you, and what does it mean to have, like, those really meaningful friendships and relationships in a genre like this?
Oh, I'll feel this. I think it's one of, like, the few factors that really keeps it easy and makes the whole thing fun for us, like going out and knowing that we're gonna be playing with bands that we like are all just straight up just fans of, and then hanging out with people that we're just fans of, and that like last night we're at Denny's just being miscreants, and kind of just it's crazy. We just go out and hang out with our friends and like play punk music. It's so simple and rad, and it's so cool too.
It's kind of weird how we do all get along so well, because it's between Make Do and La Dis and Touche and Pianos, like that group of bands, and like all of our other friends too. Like All Teeth is like a group of our best friends, and we're all from such different parts of the country, and we all vary in age so much that it's insane like how well we all do get along. It's not even like, oh, we'll tolerate each other on tour. It's like we always want to be on the road with our best friends. Yeah. And like, again, just so fortunate to have these amazing friends. Someone tell Jake to shut up.
Hey, Jake! Kill it for like 2 minutes. We are doing this live. This is a podcast style. There's nothing.
Just broke up.
Yeah. I just broke up Defeater.
You got the scoop. You just broke up.
A couple other stories I just want to quick run by you guys before we wrap this up. Speaking of live phone calls happening on the podcast. So at some point in this last year, I saw either on Twitter or Facebook, you guys had some like wannabe scene kid stealing some T-shirts from you at a show.
All my fault.
What happened?
I woke up. This is all me. I woke up in LA. Someone hit me up and said, "Holy shit, did you see that fucking kid on Twitter bragging about how he stole your merch?" and I don't know, like I'm just naive, so like I'm like, steal our merch. Like we would never steal any. This is a community, like it's like a bunch of poor kids playing heavy music, like by the skin of their teeth. Like who would?
Alyssa's calling, man. All
right. Shocker. And
women.
Yeah. And so I guess I was just like so put off on so many levels. Like, how are you going to steal? Like, how are you going to steal from the bands you come to support? You know, and he's just running his mouth about like, I don't know. I guess.
Come back, sit down.
All right.
I guess it's just like he's young and misguided, and we just honestly wanted to get the shirts back. So we did everything we could to get the shirts back. We got them back.
By shit talking on the internet.
By shit talking on the internet.
Yeah. I sent him a few nasty tweets.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
Yes, thank you.
yeah. And I talked to him on the phone finally a couple times. What we ended up having him do was paying for the shirts, just like as if he bought them. And then we took those shirts and had them donated to charity.
Yeah.
You know, it was just sort of like, you know, like if you think you're going to steal, like let's at least, it's not like a bazillion shirts a day get donated to charity, but like it was just sort of like, what do you do? You know, and it was like, well, I guess let's do this. It seemed like the best way to field it.
Right.
You know, we're pretty inexperienced in having to field things like that. You know, all the time, like we'll give someone too much change back at the merch table and they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, like you actually gave me too much money back, like here and they'll hand us the money we're supposed to get, and you're just like, wow, like our fans are so gracious and kind and cool, and like so that was just such a shocker. It was just new. It was super new for us.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, obviously when you're playing in a punk band, you're not making money off your music, especially in an era like today. It's, you know, selling your t-shirts and selling vinyl and shit like that. So it's not like the end of the world if a kid steals a few t-shirts, but at the same time, that's your livelihood that's at stake, and you don't want to be an asshole about it, but at the same time, the guy needs to learn what's going on.
I mean, I think it's just like the whole basis of like, we're supposed to be all in this for the same reason. Like,
right.
You know, there's no way in hell that kid would try and steal shirts from, you know, say it was back in the 80s, he's not going to go steal a shirt from Minor Threat, you know, like... Granted, he didn't have the means.
Not be happy.
Yeah, they didn't have the means about bragging about it on the internet, but you know,
heads would roll. One other thing, recently I saw that you'd published something on Alternative Press about a response to a YouTube video that kind of went viral, just to fill the viewers in. It was basically this teenage boy who kind of secretly recorded a really scathing rant by his mother about just really putting him down for wanting to make music for a living or practicing guitar and things like that. And you saw that and felt like you needed to say something about it. Tell me a little bit about why you felt like you had to write something and publish something, and what was your message?
It was basically, like most things I do, a sort of tongue-in-cheek way of saying that I would never tell another soul on this planet how to live their life.
Sure.
Be it anything from what you want to do with your life to like sexual orientation to political stuff to anything. Like I would never tell another soul how to live their life. And you know, I'm married, like I'll probably be having kids here before too long, and you know, I was really lucky, man. My mom bought me my first guitar. My mom was so supportive in me being a musician, and she really got it when I was like 14. She came to some like choir thing I did at my school. She saw me playing guitar on stage, and she was just like, I get it, like I totally get it, and this is who you are, and like that's it. And I don't know, like I know that she's still proud of me for that, and I guess there's a part of me that got really angry that like this poor kid, man, who by the way is awesome at guitar, is making videos to educate other people about music, about amps, about that stuff, like doing something for free for the world, and like his own mother like coming in and just like ripping him to shreds. Like I guess for me just hit this chord where I was like, are you kidding me? You know, and it was just rough. I mean, I feel like we're like the world in general and societies in general are always like on some like level of like a progressive tip. Like we're always sort of evolving and changing, and or I guess you say, you know, that's about it. And and it's like a lot of times I feel like arts and music are the front runners in that. Like, it's the arts and music that push that stuff ahead first. And for her to come in and say, like, what are you contributing to the world? What difference are you making? You're just like, are you on drugs? Like, what difference is art making in the world? Like, what difference does music make in the world? Like, listen, this isn't your type of music, but like, I personally, as a human being, think that your type of music is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But go have at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Enjoy.
Right.
Square dance, whatever the shit, you know? I don't know.
Well, that's cool. I'm really glad that you kind of spoke up and said something, and I'm sure hopefully the kids saw it and took courage by it, and even if not, someone else saw it and has the nerve to just, or the courage to just do what they love and be who they are. So. Yeah, good for you.
Cool, thanks, dude.
Yeah, thanks you guys for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it. I always like to close these things off by just giving the artists a chance to plug or promote anything. Is there anything that you guys are really stoked on lately? Anything that you think people should know about? Besides yourselves?
No, fuck that. Fuck us. Yeah. Listen to All Teeth.
All Teeth.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you got, Jay?
I have an awesome dog. My dog is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, what's your dog's name?
Niles. We named him after Frasier's brother from the TV series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's it.
Well, I hope Niles is doing well. Shout out to Niles, yo. So thanks again for watching another episode of the Seen But Not Heard podcast. Sorry if I got a little noisy in here. We are doing this live. It's a podcast, so hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll have another episode coming soon to you.